So we've had the Nintendo Switch since 2017, March of 2017. This coming March will be 6 years since the Nintendo Switch was released. Now, you've seen the title of this video. I'm sure you probably think this whole video is just gonna be bashing on the Nintendo Switch. And that's kind of true. This is kind of one of those videos, but I have to say, before we get into any of that stuff, I love the Nintendo Switch. I've gone through many of them. Right now, I'm using the OLED. I've got a ton of different Joy-Cons. I've had the light. I've had a few of the regs. I've had a few lights. I love the Switch. I like everything about it, but there are a lot of things that at the beginning we had hopes for, things that we wanted, things that Nintendo could have done and have done in the past that we just didn't see in the Switch. So I'm gonna tell you 5 things that I've found about the Nintendo Switch that are at this point basically useless. What's up, guys? Welcome back or welcome in for the first time. If you're new here, do me a favor, jump down in the description of this video, click the link over to our podcast channel, check out the merch, check any of those links out you want. There's a ton of them down there. You'll find something you like, I promise. But let's go ahead and get started here. The first thing I want to talk about, let me find one here. Here we go. The first thing I want to talk about, it's in the right Joy-Con. I'm talking about the IR sensor or the IR camera, whatever you want to call it. This little thing down here, this little black clear screen, some of you might not even know what that's for or why it's there. It's an IR motion sensor. So this thing can detect things moving. It's a camera. It's an infrared camera. It can detect how close things are, how far away they are, shapes of things, movement. There's a lot of stuff that can happen with this thing here, and Nintendo uses it for two games that I know of, maybe more. 2 games that I know of. One is 1-2 Switch. There's a game where you eat and you have to put it up to your mouth like you're eating. So there's that, which is just a wonderful use of an IR camera. And then the other is for Ring Fit Adventure. When you put your thumb over it, it actually will read your pulse, which that's nice. That is a cool thing. I do use Ring Fit, and I use that, and it works pretty well. But there are so many different things that the IR sensor could be used for. And I want to go back to one thing that I saw. I was doing some research about some old Nintendo stuff, and I found something that Nintendo themselves, they made this product for the 3DS. It was made by Nintendo. It's called the Circle Pad Pro. It was basically a big case that you put your 3DS in, and it added another stick on the side. It had other buttons, and it was all run through the IR sensor on the bottom. So that just shows you what an IR sensor could do. And it just shows you, Nintendo has used an IR sensor for things like that. Now, what could you use that for on the Switch? There are a few things that I thought of. Actually, one that came to mind when I started thinking of applications that we could put the IR sensor to use with on the Switch. They did find a better way around it, I will admit, but before we knew Skyward Sword was coming to the Switch, I actually made a video about how they could make it work with the IR sensor back here with a little, just an add-on to kind of move some of the stuff up to the top, maybe add some buttons. You could do a lot of stuff with it. It's clear with the Circle Pad Pro that is possible, and Nintendo, they whiffed on that one. It's used for absolutely nothing. Now, not to pile on, but we have to discuss this one because this is one of the biggest problems with the Switch. It's the Joy-Cons in general. Now, the first thing I want to talk about, I guess it's the problem everybody has, is drift. I have not experienced a ton of it. It is a huge problem, though. It's a massive problem. Almost 6 years later, we're still using the same exact sticks. They haven't really tried to fix it at all. It looks like they've done a few things with newer style Joy-Cons. There's a little pad on the back to try to help alleviate some of the problem, but it's still there. It's still persistent. There's a class action lawsuit going on because of it. There's lots of issues with these sticks. Now, there is a fix coming. I'm going to tell you guys about that in a second. But the other thing that I think Nintendo really dropped the ball on with these is variations of Joy-Cons. Now, we're starting to get different colors. We've got these. I love these. I just did a video on all the different Joy-Cons. I ranked them all. I'll link that at the end if you want to check that out. But they don't have any other styles of Joy-Cons besides just this shape. Whenever the Switch was first announced, we saw people making all kinds of mock-ups of different style controllers that they could put on the side of this thing. With it being a modular system, being able to take the controllers off, it gives you the option to be able to put completely different ones on. And now we've seen a lot of that. We've seen things like this. We've seen the Split Pad Pro, the Split Pad Compact. Binbach made some. There are other options out there, but nothing by Nintendo, which I find very weird. Very, very weird, especially with Smash and how everyone loves to use the GameCube controller controller for Smash. That was one of the big ones that we saw a lot of. A GameCube controller basically split in half and put on the side of the Switch. Now, there was a guy who made one. I can't remember his name. He made his own. And actually, I did want to talk about that. I think I'm allowed to talk about this now. They've been putting stuff up on Twitter, so I'm sure I am. But Binbok is working on a set of GameCube Joycons. It's literally a GameCube controller cut in half. They're working on them right now. I should be getting one soon to check out. I will be making a video on that, so if you're not subscribed, make sure you get subscribed for that. That's gonna be very cool. But again, it's not Nintendo doing it. And another thing that's coming here, I think at the end of the month, Joy-Con sticks that don't drift. Now, you guys know we've done videos on controllers that have the Hall effect sensors in them. They use magnets instead of actual friction for the inputs. The people who make Gully Kit controllers, 8-Bit Do controllers. Those are the controllers we've seen those in so far. Still waiting on my 8-Bit Do Ultimate controller video coming on that too. But they have made sticks for the Joy-Cons. You can replace the Joy-Con sticks with these. They have Hall effect sensors, so it's gonna fix the drift for those too. I can't wait till those get here. Obviously, we'll be talking about those two. But again, problems we have from Nintendo, not fixed by Nintendo, fixed by somebody else. So again, drop the ball. I really do hate to call Nintendo out on all this stuff, but like I said, I love the Switch, but we gotta call some of this stuff out. Now, getting away from the hardware side of the Switch, I want to go to the software. You probably already know where I'm going with this. There's two big problems. The first one I want to talk about is the eShop. I just want to go back to those of you who know what the eShop was with the Wii U, what the eShop was on the 3DS. It was pretty easy to navigate. There were all kinds of different things you could find. You could find, you know, Zelda games, Mario games, Kirby games. There was a section for all these things. There was a section for all kinds of stuff. It was just so much easier to navigate. It ran just fine, no issues. It had background music, which was also nice. Not a necessity, but it was nice. The Switch eShop barely runs. It is laggy. It's hard to navigate. The main page is just cluttered with terrible games, and as soon as a new one goes up, it just takes the place of the old one, and they just keep ticking down the line. Now, early in the Switch's life, this wasn't a huge deal because there weren't that many games, but now there are literally thousands and thousands of games on the eShop. So trying to find ones that you want or ones you may like, it's impossible. Not only are there not any recommendations, there's no type of rating system, there's nothing, and it lags so bad. Trying to even navigate through the eShop is a nightmare. It's so hard to do, and I think, honestly, it's got worse as we've gone along. I don't know how it gets worse. It hasn't got better, that's for sure. But the next thing I think Nintendo has really gone wrong with the Switch here is the fact that we don't have any apps on the Switch. If you look at something like the Xbox or the PlayStation or literally anything else, probably the TV in your living room has more apps than the Nintendo Switch as far as streaming, as far as entertainment. The Xbox has all these things. The PlayStation has all these things. Disney Plus, Netflix. I mean, the list goes on. Name your favorite streaming app. I guarantee it's not Hulu. I guarantee you that. It's probably not Hulu, but the Switch does have that one for some reason. That's what I find so crazy about it. You can get ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney Plus all packaged together from Disney, yet only Hulu is on the Switch. It doesn't make sense to me. It's very weird. They did give us Hulu. You know, that's great. We do have YouTube, so that's okay. The experience on the Switch with YouTube isn't that great. And we do have Twitch, which is just it's awful. I don't know if any of you have downloaded Twitch on your Nintendo Switch systems and used it, but it's not a good experience. Not at all. Now, I don't remember exactly when they said this, but I do know that a while back, there was some talk, maybe at an investors meeting or something like that, about Nintendo saying that they wanted to push the games. They didn't want to push it and make it look like it was just another tablet. They wanted it to be focused on games, which is fine. I think we've established that at this point. I think we really need to start seeing them put more of this stuff on there. Yes, it is a gaming system, but I mean, you can download this stuff on the Steam Deck, I would imagine. I don't have one, but I'm pretty sure you could probably get it on the Steam Deck. It would be nice to have it on the Switch. I wouldn't use it on the Switch, if we're being honest. The Switch doesn't output in 4K. The Switch screen itself is only 720p, so I'm probably not gonna be watching content like that, but I know a lot of people who use their Switch for that type of stuff. Kids use their Switch for YouTube a lot. It would be nice if they could also use it for Disney Plus. It would be nice if they could also use it for Netflix or whatever. Nintendo's dropped the ball yet again on that one. And while we're on that subject of things the Switch doesn't have, themes, still no themes. We have black and white, and we have really no option for anything. The user interface for the Switch is as bare bones as it was when we started with the Switch. There have been absolutely no changes. Well, there's been one change, and it's something that we asked for, we really wanted, and it was folders. And the system for the folders, it's awful. You can't move the folders to the front screen. You have to go all the way to the end, you know, of your little list. You gotta go all the way to the end, press the little button at the end, and then you can press a button to go to your folders, which kind of defeats the ease of the folders. So you can have them right there. You have to go into a menu to go into a menu of the folders. Really defeats the purpose. So what's the point? The user interface of the Switch is another thing that they talked about. I believe it was in an investors meeting, saying that they needed to keep it streamlined and simple so everything ran smooth, ran good. But I mean, we had all this stuff on a 3DS with way less power and everything was fine. You could get all kinds of different stuff on the 3DS. You could buy themes in the eShop. You could literally buy them. Nintendo sold them to us, and now they're telling us they don't want to make money because the fragile Switch can't handle a picture in the background while you're searching through your one row of games. Makes a lot of sense. But that's all 5, guys. Let me know down in the comments if there's anything else about the Switch that you think is just absolutely useless. A lot of these I would have liked to have seen them upgrade, fix, move forward with, but we haven't. Maybe with the Switch 2, we will. I'm sorry for being so negative in this one, guys, but hey, gotta call Nintendo out when they need called out. Again, if you want to, there's links to all kinds of stuff down in the description. But that is gonna do it for this one, guys. As always, thank you so much for watching this video. Please leave a like. Make sure you're subscribed. See you in the next one.